When we come back, you will meet one young man who says his job...
You afraid you were going to lose your job?
It could very well be.
...nearly worked him to death.
If you've ever been really tired, you know that when the sun hits you in the eyes, you just kind of want to doze off.
What do you miss the most?
The simple things like just walking on the beach or playing ball and stuff like that.
All 27-year-old Gary Green has left of his former life.
I miss a lot of things I really never took advantage of.
Our memories.
We were watching the video of him with the band, and I found myself crying because I know he'll never be like that again.
And he and his parents have no doubt at all where the blame lies.
I worked 25 hours straight.
Last June, after a double shift at this Taco Bell in Chatsworth, Georgia, Gary Green got in his car and headed home.
I knew I was tired, but I honestly thought, I could make it.
He did not make it. Gary's car ran off Highway 225 right down there, about 20 miles from the Taco Bell. He says he had just gone around a curve and suddenly found himself staring straight into the sun.
If you've ever been really tired, you know that when the sun hits you in the eyes, you just kind of want to doze off.
Doing good, doing very good.
Today, because of the injuries he suffered in the crash,
paralysis of the right side of my body and the left side of my face.
Every word, every move is a struggle.
A lot of frustration, a lot of hurt.
Gary blames the accident on exhaustion, and the exhaustion on the double shift he worked. He is suing Taco Bell.
Why in the world did you work for 25 hours?
The person they had scheduled to work that morning was already at like 39 hours. And so I could not get in touch with anyone to okay her overtime or to work instead of her. So that left me.
A policy of Taco Bell caused him to have to work 23 and a half hours. All right, and one more thing.
Totsy Nichols, Gary's attorney, believes Taco Bell is morally and legally responsible for what happened.
They have a policy that encourages every employee to make sure that no one goes into overtime.
And he was not going to be in overtime.
He was not. He had no choice but to stay there and work the remaining shifts.
I think that's the employee's fault.
Attorney Peter Bennett represents employers in similar cases.
How do you expect, or how does anyone expect an employer to monitor all their employees to make sure they're okay when they go out and drive home at night?
How indeed, says Taco Bell.
First, I'd like to say what a terrible tragedy Gary Green's accident is.
But, adds company spokesman Jonathan Blum, what happened after work is not Taco Bell's concern.
I think our responsibility to our employees is to make sure that we provide a safe environment for them to work in. Gary's trying to test the limits of the law to see whether or not it extends beyond the boundaries of the workplace.
Here is a company that works him to death and says, I'm sorry, there's no coverage for you. You were on your way home.
Oops,
What?
my shoe.
Why is it Taco Bell's fault that he made a bad decision and decided to drive home when he was exhausted?
If you've been without sleep for 23 and a half hours, I believe the experts will testify that you are already impaired mentally.
Well, that's really a dangerous condition.
Dr. Charles Seisler studies sleep deprivation.
When you have missed completely a night of sleep, you can't really call that kind of an event an accident because it really would be expected to happen.
Still, why would Gary Green take such a risk?
These people need their job. They want to work. He was afraid he'd be fired.
You afraid you were going to lose your job?
It could very well be.
Gary's battle against Taco Bell is still in the courts.
We're moving now on two tracks, the workers' comp track and the civil track.
His just one of an increasing number of sleep deprivation lawsuits.
It goes on all the time, and not only Taco Bell, but other companies.
McDonald's is facing a $10 million claim in a similar case.
This is something that absolutely needs to be stopped.
We live in one of the few industrialized countries that doesn't have any legislation on the federal level that regulates the length of time that we can stay at work and the amount of time off that we have to have within a 24-hour period.
Well, ideally, what would this lawsuit accomplish?
I don't know.
We're trying to get him something for his pay and suffering.
We would also like to see something done so that it doesn't happen again
Right.
to somebody else.
Meanwhile, Gary Green has racked up $150,000 in unpaid medical bills.
I would think that you would be bitter about what happened to you.
The thing is, I can return to work eventually, and that's what I want to do.
That's the most important thing.
Definitely.
He's not asking for the pie in the sky. He don't want to be put on easy street. He wants to be able to work. Now, I want that for him, and he deserves that.